Viewers, as always, we will lead on India Upfront with the biggest story of the day. 2 more Hindus have been attacked in Kashmir in an orchard. The latest victims of targeted hate crime by Islamist supremacists are 2 brothers, Sunil Kumar and Pintu Kumar. Sunil is dead and Pintu is fighting for his life. His condition is critical. Islamists who have been waging Ghazwa-e-Hind against India with a view to turning the nation into an Islamic state have reportedly taken responsibility. It goes without saying that this latest killing will only add to the fears of Kashmiri Hindus in Jammu and Kashmir who have been the victims of an unending ethnic cleansing. These Hindus have begun to protest and expect them to demand safe passage out of the valley. As if on cue, the so-called torchbearers of Indian secularism, the muftis, Abdullahs, several self-styled humanists who see themselves as the torchbearers of secularism are condemning the attack, viewers. I want you to focus your eyes on these 3 visual sets that I'm going to put out for you on your screens. Hindus are targeted attack. Again, they are part of this unending ethnic cleansing that began decades back. But viewers, the entire cabal on the extreme right, they're making perfunctory remarks. Don't get fooled by their protestations, condemnation, and their crocodile tears. This group has indirectly emboldened the Islamists. Let me explain to you, viewers. They were the first to criticize the movie Kashmir Files, calling it cinematic propaganda by Hindu nationalists, even though the film exposed the reality of the anti-Hindu genocide in Kashmir. Here's what I mean. Let me take you through what some of these individuals said when this movie was released. Jairam Ramesh, who has been elevated today to the Congress's chief communicator for the nation, said Kashmir Files doesn't inspire but incites hate, viewers. Can you believe it? A movie that tells you the reality inspires hate because you're scared of that reality. It'll expose your compromises. I'm talking about the Congress party, and I'll explain to you, viewers, as we go forward. Umar Abdullah, National Conference chief, said Kashmir Files has depicted many false things. Farooq was not chief minister when Pandits fled the valley. It's only a matter of a day here or a day there, viewers, depending on when you want to ascribe the date for when the Holocaust began. It wasn't on one particular date, viewers. The killings had begun in the mid-80s themselves. Only the deluded, or perhaps the colluding, refused to recognize that fact. Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress, once former chief minister of Kashmir, said one-sided film doesn't show that Muslims were attacked. Viewers, so no Hindu has a right to tell his story in isolation. Mehbooba Mufti, PDP chief, said NDA crushing disempowerment and despondency. Can you believe it? ST Hassan, Samajwadi Party member of parliament. Due to this, Muslims are being targeted in film halls. Movie has been made to hurt the sentiments of Muslims. Sharad Pawar said, encouraged to watch film that stokes anger. Viewers, how does making a movie that exposes a Holocaust against Hindus hurt Muslim sentiments, as a Samajwadi Party MP would have us believe? In fact, the film should have served as a timely eye-opener, forcing the moderate elements of the Muslim community to speak up against this genocide and condemn the dangerous radicalization that is consuming the youth of Kashmir and many other youth in different parts of this country. Silence, as we know, led to the birth of Afghanistan and Pakistan that are theocracies. In Bangladesh, the national mainstream at least makes a concerted attempt at speaking out against Islamists, stalling perhaps what has happened in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Viewers, it's not the only reason. These people refuse to accept the real problem. Let me explain by dissecting their reactions issued today on the back of these attacks. In their remarks is proof of their ostrich-like denial of the truth of genocide. Viewers, let me read out what Mehbooba Mufti said today. Government behaves like an ostrich with head buried. Every resident of J&K has become cannon fodder in the quest for manufactured normalcy. But what do they deny, viewers? Let's put out that graphic on your screens. Let's put it out. This is a targeted attack. This is what they deny, only against Hindus. Viewers, when people are killed for their religion, they are being singled out. So Mehbooba Mufti is wrong when she says that every resident of J&K, no viewers, only the Hindus of J&K are being targeted as we speak. This is what they deny. Viewers, let me read out Omar Abdullah. Militant attack left trail of death and suffering. Condemn the militant attack unequivocally. What they deny, what Omar denies, that the killings are carried out by religious terrorists. These are not your Joe Blow militants who have an extreme position or some grouse against the Indian state. Pawan Khera of the Congress Party. PM should address nation on Kashmir policy. Demonetization or restructuring haven't helped. Can you believe it, viewers? Trivializing a genocide. This isn't a political problem, but a religious one. But they won't accept it. They will deny this. Terrorists don't have any religion, they target all. What would you call the Lashkar-e-Toiba? The Lashkar of whom? Jaish-e-Muhammad. The Jaish of whom? Viewers, what are they denying? They're denying that Hindus are being singled out for their identity by Islamist terrorists, Islamist bigots. Asaduddin Owaisi says, BJP vowed Hindus will be safe, but they're fleeing. Moderate mainstream, the so-called moderate mainstream, the so-called secular politicians like Asaduddin Owaisi, they won't even call this an ensuing genocide because they know there will be a religious dimension. Viewers, this denial has emboldened the Islamists, but there's more. Some among the political class have also actively courted or patronized xenophobes, wrongly assuming that a political dialogue will somehow pave the way for some sort of big, magical reconciliation. The end of hate directed against Hindus. Viewers, in 2006, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh met with the person who led the genocide, Yasin Malik, who is today rotting in jail, and may he continue to do so for the rest of his life, viewers. May he be hung, in fact, for his dastardly crime. But here he is meeting Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for what was reportedly a 1-hour-long meeting. God alone knows what they talked about behind closed doors. In 2007, Yasin got a stay on trial in the IAF massacre case. Again, this case was unchallenged by the UPA. Why? One doesn't know, viewers. One doesn't know. Yasin Malik then goes on to share a stage with Hafiz Saeed, enemy number one of our nation in Pakistan. Who was he given a visa by? Once again, the UPA. Butcher of Pandits, Bitta Karate got bail. This man, Bitta Karate, went on a news portal and confessed to killing Hindus because he hated them. At least now he's been rearrested 2019 for terror financing, viewers. This man, however, needs to go to the gallows. I want to open this up and I want to ask some basic questions. I want to go straight across to Sameer Singh, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, who's member of parliament, viewers, you heard, says that a film that came closest to describing what happened to Hindus and capturing their pain, viewers, this party criticized that movie, denied the truth. So I want to ask you, Sameer Singh Saab, why are you in denial? And I want to ask you, is your denial therefore emboldening all those who think that they can get away by murdering Hindus in the valley? I want to ask you, sir, where today are Muslim mainstream leaders taking out candlelight vigils for the two young men we are talking about, for Sunil and his brother Pintu, whose life hangs between life and death? Why aren't they out there, sir? Can you explain to me? Sameer Singh,
Sunil
why aren't
Kumar,
they doing it? Why aren't they doing it?
A young individual has lost his life due to militant activity.
Sameer Singh, why aren't they doing it?
Why aren't they doing it?
And if they should, then why aren't they doing it? I'm asking you, why aren't they doing it?
Rahul,
Is the only onus,
everyone should.
Is the onus on only Hindus to maintain the secular fabric of this country? I'm asking you this question. Why aren't they doing it? Where are they? Why isn't Omar Abdullah on the street?
It goes both way around. Rahul, you just when you were asking me the question, you did mention something about mob lynching and the opposition creating a ruckus about it. But I have a question for you. That if tomorrow a movie is made, on the cases of mob lynching,
yes,
would it be right? It would not.
Why shouldn't it be right? If it's the truth, why shouldn't it be right?
Because
why not? You don't want to see what's happening on the fringes of your society?
What are we trying to do?
We are trying to get justice. We are trying to get justice, and the only way you're going to get justice, Sameer Singh, is not by denying that there is Hinduphobia in this country in some pockets.
The only way to do justice,
right,
the only way to do justice is to make things right.
How do you make it right?
Ultimately the case. That was at
How do you make it right? So then let me tell you. How do you make it right?
While abrogating the T70.
How do you make it right? By accepting the reality or by burying your head? You know what happened with the anti-Sikh riots? People buried their head. They didn't get justice. Was that making it right?
By ensuring that such incidents don't take place again.
How does that happen? By playing Lego, Ludo.
That happens. The government has to take a stand. The government has to ensure that things.
Sir, it happens by making an example out of the butchers of Hindus. How many people, may I ask you, Sameer Singh, have gone to jail for this genocide of Hindus? Can I ask you this question? Can you name 2 people?
Rahul, that is a judicial.
You know what you do, sir? You count the votes that you want to get from one particular community. You do that. You don't raise your head. No. You see, you do us all a favor, Sameer Singh.
No.
You sit there and you count the votes that you want to get from a community by not calling out. By not calling out Hinduphobia. You do that. You appease. That's what you want to do.
This has become a habit. We never make. Rahul, can I just get 30 seconds to put forward my point?
Take 2 minutes.
Counter and you can open the debate.
Yeah, of course, sir. Please, take 2 minutes.
Yeah. So what I was about to say was that it has become a habit. So first of all, the way this debate is going, do we really hate the word secular? Or are we tarnishing it to the level that secularity becomes vulgarity or secularity becomes a curse? Secularity is mentioned in the preamble of the Constitution.
Right.
So there has to be secularity. Why just blame or paint this term negative? Why build a negative narration to this secular term?
So viewers,
secularity is there.
So viewers,
it's inbuilt.
Fair enough.
the
I understand the drift
and
of your...
we are doing that. So
Okay, you are doing that.
Listen, and it's not a one-sided secularity.
Oh,
when we condemn any action committed by a Hindu, we condemn every action every negative action that is taken by a Muslim as well.
Right.
So it goes both way around.
Yes, I just saw Akhilesh Yadav
what happened
leading
what happened
a bunch of his party members.
What happened today with Kishan Lal?
Samir Singh.
Condemn.
Okay, you condemn it. That's all. Great. I commend you for condemning it. That's the least you can do. I do know that Mr. Akhilesh Yadav is going to be taking a flight tomorrow morning with a whole bunch of Samajwadi Party leaders to hold a candlelight vigil at Lal Chowk. I'm sure he's going to be doing that. Because that's what you say as a statement. Because that's what you do when a Muslim is lynched, rightly so. So if you don't want to be selective, I'm sure you're going to be doing that tomorrow. Maybe even in Lucknow. Let's see you doing it in Lucknow tomorrow. Raising a candle in solidarity with Sunil Bhat, Rahul Bhat, Amreen Bhat, Rajni Bala, Makhanlal Bindru, Rakesh Pandita, Bal Krishna, and of course today, the young Sunil. I'm sure you'll do that. I'm waiting for it.
Rahul, now that's a problem, and you.
Right,
now that's
a problem.
You,
it's okay.
In
It's
spite
fine.
of me mentioning those names, you still haven't mentioned Riaz Ahmed and Saifullah Qadri.
Sir, Samir Singh, I am telling you that if you allow the genie of Islamist hate out of the out of the bottle, and you allow it to spread like it is, even 1 second.
In a grenade attack.
Now just keep that fader down. It's not right. We're not here doing some sort of a, loya jirga, where everyone is shouting and screaming. If you don't know how to behave, you can leave the show. I'm not here for hearing your trolling. It's a serious issue. Viewers, there are more Muslims being killed today. Just think about Salman Rushdie, whose life was hanging on a thread because of Islamist bigotry. We've seen what has happened in Europe and in America, where they pandered to this. And we are seeing what is happening here, because for years altogether, that is what has been happening. These people are being pandered to, because you have lily-livered liberals who can't speak up. I want to open this further. I want to get in Dr. Anand Ranganathan, Aarti Tikko, General Bakshi, and I want to get in Tehseen Poonawala. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
Good evening, Rahul. First of all, my sincere condolences at the murder of the Kashmiri Hindu. I think I would not be exaggerating if I say that we have reached an inflection point. These terrorists, make no mistake about it, are targeting Hindus settled in Kashmir, but not the Hindus visiting Kashmir. Tourist footfall in Kashmir these past 10 months has been the highest ever, 15.1 million. Business is booming, registers are ringing, tourists are safe. They want the Hindus to flee, but then return later as tourists. How on earth can center watch this unfold without doing something about it, Rahul? What kind of a country is this that has made Hindus fifth-class citizens? That one can settle 40,000 Rohingyas in Jammu and Kashmir, but not 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus, the land's original inhabitants? Rahul, there is no way of saying it. We live in a nation of broken mirrors, where you possess neither a shadow nor a reflection if you are a Kashmiri Hindu. You don't exist after you die. We live in a nation that waits for death to rid us of our remembrances to an extent. The Kashmir Files, the film, has changed that. And that is why so many are rattled. It is not just a film. It is a Proustian collection of memories of Girja, of Ganju, of Dinanath. Hearing them, one felt lost for hope, wondering whether that fabled arc of moral universe would ever bend towards justice for the Kashmiri Hindus. Remember that 3 years ago, the Supreme Court diabolically rejected reopening cases of criminal atrocities against Kashmiri Pandits because too much time had elapsed. That's correct. Justice is now to be weighed against time. Rahul, governments come and go. We shout and we make 100 excuses, but we can't get away from the fact that 7 lakh Kashmiris are in exile. Mind turns numb at the very thought that a nation is going about its daily business for 30 years. While 500,000 Hindus have been reduced to refugees in their own land, we are the only country in the world that allows this. Across parties, across governments, right or left or center, 3 years to 2019, 3,686 law and order incidents occurred in Kashmir. 3 years since 2019, the number is only 430. Terror attacks have reduced by 40% since 2018. But then why? Only 2,105 Kashmiri Hindus have been brought home. Why? 14 have lost their lives already. Making Kashmir files tax-free was great. But remember your dharma. It is not to make things tax-free. It is to make sure 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus are brought home. Time is running out, Rahul. A refugee accepts his fate and the humiliation that comes along with it. For he must worry about his new life. He forgets how to complain. And that is the fatal mistake, because in this nation, complaints are heard through the gun, not through grammar. This nation believes inaction is a medicine. It believes time heals. It believes wounds do not fester. It believes the exiled never return. Kashmiri Hindus are the Jews. But unfortunately, India is not Israel. Rahul, just 10 seconds. They call Kashmir the Switzerland of the East. Wrong. It is the Srebrenica of the East. And it will remain so till such time every Kashmiri Hindu is returned home.
Well, I want to go straight across to Tehseen Poonawala. Mr. Poonawala, let's begin with the basics first. General Bakshi is listening and Aarti Tikko is also there. Majid Haidari joins it because the ill-mannered Zishan Rana, who wanted to heckle, has left the show. Belongs to the National Conference viewers. I want to begin with you, Tehseen Poonawala, and ask you a basic question. Do you believe that Hindus have suffered ethnic cleansing in Kashmir? Yes or no? First question you answer, and then I'll ask you a follow-up.
I'll answer that. I want to thank General Bakshi to begin with for his services to our nation. It is because of people like him that we are safe. And yes, I do believe that Hindus, especially my friend Aarti, who's on this panel, her family, I know personally, has suffered. And it is the duty of every Indian, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, or gender, to stand by our Hindu fellow citizens. It is our fundamental duty. I am one of those few who visited Kashmir in January, and it is my duty to stand by them. Yes, I believe so.
So you believe so. So can I ask you, why is it that when a movie is made which brings alive the horror, your party, led by the peerless Jairam Ramesh, who's an intellectual giant, if not self-proclaimed, and Ghulam Nabi Azad of the Congress party, who was a former chief minister, came out and berated this film as propaganda. Propaganda, perhaps inspired by the BJP, which exploits fear and prejudice to divide and rule. This is what Jairam Ramesh said. Utter contempt for this film. Now, even if it was an approximation of the facts, it was still a brave attempt, as we have seen now, what it can cost you from Rushdie's example to make a film which takes on these Islamist hate mongers. So it was a brave attempt, and this is how it was dispatched. You have Ghulam Nabi Azad that says one-sided biased narrative. Should they have been doing this, sir? Who are they actually insulting? Would they not have ended up insulting the pain of the Hindu community?
I'll tell you what is the pain of the Hindu community, but I would request you, don't interrupt me. I'll just take 45 seconds.
Sure.
Yes, sir. The pain of the Hindu community is having a government that is arrogant, ignorant, and incompetent all at the same time. It's a deadly cocktail, but this present government promises and delivers that. It's a government whose Prime Minister on 8 November 2016 promised us in live on Times Now that, hey, demonetization will end terrorism, will make Kashmir to normalcy. He failed. He got an article, removed Article 370. I supported it. He's failed again because time after time, my Hindu fellow citizens are being killed. And you may question Jairam Ramesh or Ghulam Nabi Azad, for whom the Prime Minister cried in Parliament. But quite frankly, neither of them are in government. In government is Amit Shah, who has the spine of a molten eclair. And I've repeatedly said this. And therefore, his police force under Manoj Ji, who's the governor of LG of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, comes out and says, no, only Muslims are not being, only Hindus are not being killed. Even Muslims are being killed. But that is wrong. There is a select targeting of Hindus. You know it, I know it, Anand knows it, Aarti knows it. But his government denies it. I'll tell you what is incompetence. Incompetence is, and you have veterans on this show, when Mehbooba Mufti's sister was kidnapped, the Congress was in opposition, the BJP was in government. And Farooq Abdullah and Rajiv Gandhi pleaded, don't release the terrorists, but BJP not only released the terrorists, it was Rajiv Gandhi to do a dharna in Parliament to ask the army and brave men like General Bakshi to intervene. That is incompetence. Therefore, I say, to save India, to save Jammu and Kashmir, get rid of the BJP. And one more thing, you said that Manmohan Singh has discussed things with Yasin Malik. Rightly, wrongly, history will judge him. I can show you several pictures of Atal Bihari Vajpayee with Yasin Malik in discussions along with Advani ji. So let's not go down that route. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Aarti Tikko, would you like to respond to Tehseen Poonawala?
Well, Rahul, I would like to first say that Anand said that it's an inflection point. But I think for us Kashmiri Hindus, Kashmiri Saraswat Brahmins, it is an annihilation point. We are finally, coming to an end. And I'm seeing the generation of my parents dying today. We are finished as a community. We are getting killed every day. We are being butchered and slaughtered every day. For us, neither the Congress nor the BJP or no other political party really. For us, none of these parties really matter because we have been treated as sacrificial lambs. We've been treated as the sacrificial goats for their own respective politics, for their own political agendas, and for the conflict entrepreneurs and conflict industry that has been perpetuated, that has been propagated, and that remains empowered despite the fact that the Modi government took a historic decision on August 5th, 2019, but it has not been able to dismantle the jihadi network that is responsible for the annihilation of Kashmiri Hindus. And I know as a student of Kashmir and as a journalist who's worked on Kashmir for 22 years, I know that the state has the capability and the ability to actually dismantle that network. But it hasn't done so. It is not doing so. And there somebody in this government, somebody in the system, whether the BJP or the Congress or the entire system, the system is not constituted only by the BJP. The system is also constituted by the Congress party, by the opposition, and they all are responsible for the annihilation, for the massacre, for the murder, for the ethnic cleansing and genocide of Kashmiri Hindus at the hands of Islamic jihadis. And I'm saying this in utter despair, in utter disappointment and disillusionment with the entire system. And I'm putting this on record and I'm telling you this, that this entire country is responsible for the genocide of Kashmiri Hindus at the hands of Islamic jihadis. So do not tell me that it's the BJP or the Congress party or anybody else. It's the entire system from New Delhi to London to Washington DC to the entire elite of the world. That entire elite is responsible for the annihilation of Kashmiri Hindus. I've seen my grandparents dying in misery and suffering. I've seen my parents struggling. I've seen the entire generation of my parents struggling and dying. They are dying today. Who's responsible? Who's going to give all these answers? Nobody. Neither in the mainstream media, nor in the system, nor with the BJP, nor the Modi government.
Okay. General Bakshi, the problem is that everyone's running away from calling out Islamist hate, bigotry. The opposition decries efforts to try and project it on film. They have not ensured justice when they've been in power for the longest in Kashmir to the Hindu community. And you have the BJP that has promised normalization or normalcy but has not been able to deliver it. Aarti Tikko says they're all to blame. General Bakshi.
Yes, Rahul, we are all to blame because we allowed it to happen. And now that so many years have passed, we've not been able to reverse the ethnic cleansing. We are all guilty. We are all to blame. The first step towards the removal of a problem is the acceptance that it exists. Unless you acknowledge that there is a problem, what can a doctor do? His work starts from there. You refuse to accept that there was a genocide. You refuse to accept that there was ethnic cleansing. Then where do you go from there? Today, we have a situation when we have the 75th anniversary of the independence of our republic, right? And this is the time that Pakistan has chosen to go for a killing spree again in Jammu and Kashmir. They attacked a military outpost in Rajouri. They exploded grenades in the markets of many towns. Now they have shot up 2 more Kashmiri Pandits. It's in your face. Now let me put this in a bit of perspective, because I think one has to now look at it in the larger perspective. When I served in Jammu and Kashmir from 2000 to 2005, there were 5,000 armed terrorists there, right? Today, we increased the number of our Rashtriya Rifles Battalion. We sent additional forces to Jammu and Kashmir. We brought that number down. We slaughtered them down, and we got them down to 150. The problem today is, Rahul, this 150 is persisting with sneak attacks against soft targets, which the state refuses somehow to protect. We have gun-toting police guys hanging around with every neta everywhere all over this country, mainstream party, opposition, whatever. You can't put, how many Kashmiri Pandits are there in the valley now? 2,000? You put 2 on each, 2 armed gunmen on each, that makes it 4,000. You can't do that. You can't do that. When you know this is a designated target, this is a soft target, you can't protect it. The Indian state doesn't have 4,000 men to spare. We have NSG gun-toting commandos hanging around. All are high and mighty. I know Kashmiri lives don't matter. Kashmiri Pandit lives don't matter. I know the lives of the migrant labor from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh don't matter. But they should. Because they are all Indians. Identify the problem and deal with it.
1 second, General Saab. Just 1 second. I want to bring in Majid Hydari because I want to pick up from where General Saab has ended. He began by saying, acknowledge the problem exists. If you refuse to accept the genocide, then you're not going to have the tools to address the issue. So I want to ask you, Majid Hydari Saab, do you believe that your fellow Kashmiris wrongly kept quiet, wrongly tolerated the fact that there was an ethnic cleansing of Kashmiri Hindus and did nothing to pursue the ends of justice for them? Would you at least admit that?
Well, Rahul Saab, my heart really bleeds tonight. And you rightly said this is hate, this is bigotry, this is terror, of course. And 2 such cases have taken place in our country just today. And in both the cases, the terrorists are moving around scot-free. In one of the cases, our brother, your and my brother, Sunil ji, was shot dead by terrorists. And the other case, our sister in Gujarat, her rapists, 11 rapists were released today. But I won't be focusing on Gujarat, I'll be talking about Kashmir. So what has happened in Kashmir today is retaliation. The retaliation to how our government yesterday bombed Pakistan with jalebis, rasgullas, barfi, petha, rasmalai, everything I was told at the Atari border.
And yesterday, हमारी सरकार ने चाशनी की नदियां बहा दी अटारी पर. So there is a problem with our government. Our government has no policy.
No, 1
on
second.
Kashmir.
Hydari Saab, you can blame the government. You can expect the government to put a armed personnel every 30 yards. When they do that, you say it's becoming militarized Kashmir. So,
what is
look,
our policy
one
towards
second.
Pakistan, sir?
One second,
Kindly
Mr.
enlighten the
Hydri.
nation on this.
Mr.
Why
Hydri,
can't you
one
explain
second.
this?
Yeah, one second. Mr. Hydri, one second. Let's first talk about the tolerance for this. Now, many times, when there are lynchings that happen in other parts of this country, you yourself come out and you shame civil society by saying that we are not standing up against this sort of Islamophobia. You've got a term for it, as if all Hindus are Islamophobic. And you say, where is the outrage? Do you not say it, yes or no? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, I am saying that my
so
government
do you at that time, hang on, do you at that time,
Pakistan, so why are
so
you
I'm
troubled?
asking
Why
you
are
this
bothered?
question. No, don't, look, you can change the goalpost, but I want you to first answer the basic question. Do you believe you failed Kashmiri Hindus by not boycotting socially and calling for the arrest of Yasin Malik all these years? It's a simple question to you. Or that other fellow, Bitta Karate.
It's as simple as what has happened in Gujarat today.
No,
Will
sir.
you support that?
Again, you're changing the goalpost.
No, I'm not.
I'm asking you.
It is reality, sir. It's
No, one second. In the Bilkis, I'll explain the difference to you also. In the Bilkis Bano case, one minute. Mr. Majid Hydri, please, don't change the goalpost. Why do you sneak out? Why don't you stay and answer my question? आप ये पतली गली से क्यों sneak out हो जाते हैं? Stand your ground. What happened in the Bilkis Bano case? Viewers, certain number of individuals were sentenced to life in prison. They've already served 14 years. I don't agree with the fact that they should have been let out and all that. That's a different debate. But at least there was some justice. There was a modicum of justice. Here, the person who is the butcher of Kashmiri Hindus is meeting the Prime Minister of the land, gets to address massive rallies with state complicity. I'm not denying it. But what did the Kashmiri Muslims do there?
Sir,
they allowed it.
Tomorrow there be
they never asked him, bhai, how do you represent? One minute.
I'll also hold a candlelight.
Majid Hydri Saab, one minute. Please listen to me. I beg you, sir.
I'll come out for Sunil.
I beg you, for 35 years you have not heard the Kashmiri Hindus. Listen to a Kashmiri Hindu. Sir, listen to one of your brothers.
It's an open.
Sir, at least listen to one of your brothers. Listen to one of your brothers. You have heard the Yasin Maliks. You have elected him. You have chosen him to be a representative of Kashmiri sentiments. The state has also given him that designation. Can you believe it, viewers? Successive chief ministers said he must be brought on and engaged with a killer. And when certain individuals accused of lynching a Muslim are given a garland, the very same crowd comes out and says that you are lionizing, edifying hate mongers. And look at in Kashmir. Am I wrong, Tehseen Poonawala? Am I wrong to say that Yasin Malik was greeted as some original voice of the Kashmiri people? Am I wrong? Factually, I'm just asking you. Yes, no?
No, you're not. Atal Bihari
I'm
Vajpayee
not. So I'm asking, yes.
Yes, Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
You're making the big mistake of making it political. I'm not. I'm talking about
I think
problem. So 1 minute.
Terrorist.
You said, Tehseen Poonawala, that you acknowledged that there was a genocide. So tell me.
Yes.
After 1989, 1990, there have been Congress governments for at least 17 years. Yet the person who confessed was never brought to book. Forget about the BJP. Yes, the BJP did all sorts of horrible things, colluded with everybody. Let's say it. No problems. But what did the Congress do? Why didn't you at least come out there and persecute and prosecute these butchers? Can I ask you this question, or are you going to run away from it by saying the BJP does it also, so two wrongs, make a right? Is that your response?
No, two wrongs don't make a right.
So by not punishing anyone, what did we end up doing, viewers? We emboldened this because there are no consequences.
You promised me one line.
Yeah, take two.
One line. I just want one line. But no, I agree with Aarti. The entire system, all of us, opposition and government, have failed the people of Kashmir, especially our Kashmiri Pandit fellow citizens. We failed them as a country. What are we celebrating? 75 years of independence, 75th anniversary of independence. We should be ashamed.
Okay,
but I want to make
Tehseen Poonawala, one minute.
Just
On this point.
Just
Okay.
one line. I just
Yeah,
want
one line.
Just
Yes.
one line. I
Yes.
want your viewers to know, and I want Anand to know this, and please fact check me. The present union government in the Honorable Supreme Court on reopening of the Kashmir files, yes, they made Kashmir files tax-free. On the genocide, did not take a stand, but took a stand on the Rohingyas and said, look, the Rohingyas must stay in Jammu and Kashmir. This is the hypocrisy of the government, and that is what we have to fight and change. Congress, BJP.
Okay, one second. Mr. Poonawala, great that you're sitting here and waxing eloquent. I just want to remind our viewers, very important. Viewers, Article 370 allows Hindus from all over the country, forget just Kashmiri Hindus, to go back or to unleash India's natural entrepreneurial instincts by being able to go to Kashmir, settle in Kashmir, and lift Kashmir out of the economic doldrums. And guess who's criticized this? The abrogation of Article 370. The Congress party, the entire opposition. They have to make up their mind. I don't understand, viewers. You criticize an enabling amendment, but then when the moment arises such as this, you quickly, like some great yogi, do a complete flip and also accuse the state of failure. Of course the state has failed.
Rahul.
But it's like, viewers, having your cake, baking your cake and having it too. It's very smart tactics. Of course it is. Let's blame everybody, but exempt ourselves.
Very true.
Let's exempt ourselves.
General Bakshi, kindly throw light on Barfi bombs and
One
Rasgulla
second.
bombs.
Hydri,
Kindly,
Mr.
sir, kindly enlighten
Mr.
the
Hydri,
listeners.
it's not just Hindus, it is also Sikhs. Forgotten Chhattis Singh Pura? You just don't want anyone who is not a Muslim to settle in the valley.
We just have the living
And you
example
don't
of
want
Bilkis
to,
Bano
you don't
just
want to
today.
come out and say there is no space for this kind of bigotry.
I said I'll take out a procession, but let Aarti Tikko
What are you waiting for? You should have already
taken
taken out a procession. Grandstanding on national TV is not going to help you. Abhi elections dur hai, sir. General, yes, Dr. Ranganathan and General Bakshi. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan first.
Us on Rasgulla bombs, Barfi
Yes,
bombs. which our
Rahul,
government has
I'm
bombed
sorry,
on
but this
the
is
neighboring country.
absolutely...
General Sahab, kindly enlighten, margdarshan kare.
You see,
Majid,
no, Dr. Ranganathan, you see, we can blame the state. And it's very convenient. You see, we blame the state for everything. Even, viewers, for the garbage that we throw outside our house. We say, "Arey bhai, koi aata hi nahi saaf karne." Why do we throw it out there in the first place? Why do we litter? I'm not trivializing these issues, viewers. We keep silent when the genocide is happening. We go into denial. We say that the movie that is being made, that has been made to show what is the reality, is a BJP pamphlet. And then we expect, viewers, we expect things to be absolutely okay. We expect Hindus to live in absolute safety. It doesn't work that way. At some point you have to ask yourself, what are you doing for your country? Viewers, it's all very well to take a candle to Hathras. Where is this group of people today? Why aren't they in Shopian? Why? Who's that hurting? Dr. Ranganathan. Why? Why are they not there?
Yes, no, absolutely. And if you notice, Rahul, over the course of this whole debate, the panelists in the bottom panel, all three of them, have indulged in rampant whataboutery. But when you talk about any Hindu that has been lynched in a Muslim mob hate attack during the same time as Akhlaq was, then they will say you are doing whataboutery. Now, all three of them are talking about cases that are not related to the murder of Kashmiri Hindus, but still they're quoting. And number two, with my good friend Tehseen, I must say this. Sorry, Tehseen, but I am not to blame. You are not to blame. General Bakshi is not to blame. Vivek Agnihotri is not to blame. The state is to blame. Let us not cushion the blame that must be apportioned on to the political party service. How is General Bakshi to blame? He has saved countless lives. How is Aarti to blame? She has highlighted the problem. So let us not say all of us are to blame. We elected a government, we expected the government to do. And finally, just 20 seconds, Rahul. I'm aghast by my good friend, Mr. From the SP, the spokesperson. He's saying that we must not make films on lynching. By the same logic, there should be no films on Holocaust made. There should be no films on 1984 genocide made. ये कौन सा logic है?
ये logic of exceptionalism है. What about ये है? Babri Masjid demolished, उस पे movie after movie, Gujarat riots पे movie after movie. At that time, no one said this is hurting Hindu sentiments by making a movie on Gujarat. There are hundreds of movies on Gujarat riots, which they also screened from JNU down to Lucknow, viewers. So let's put this in perspective. You know, the easiest thing right now to do is to say that, oh, Modi hasn't declared nuclear war against Pakistan. That's fine. Some people want that. Mutual self-assured destruction, we can do it. Some people will say, let's take the tanks across, let's take, drones across. We can do that. Israel does it effectively. They don't do it against nuclear powers. So let's remember that. It's easier said than done. But viewers, there are ways. There are ways. The state has methods. It has to employ them. No doubt about this. But you and I also have a duty, by the way. Don't crib. Don't crib. If you allow principles and apply them selectively, then don't crib about the outcome. None of you, viewers out there, are also taking out candlelight marches. I'm not seeing anyone on Azad Maidan today or at Jantar Mantar. Ask yourselves why. You don't care. That's why. Or you're in denial. I don't know. One of these two. Think about it. Till you don't do something, till you don't make this an expectation of your government and you make it an issue on which elections can be won and lost, nothing will move. Nothing. Unite and start a fight for rights now, before it's too late.